Hey guys, welcome back. It's Memorial Day weekend. We are getting everything into the ground. We got all of our seedlings that we started over winter that are going in. We were successful with some things and not so much with others. We've got our trellises up for all of our pole beans, some of our melons, zucchini, and a couple other things are going to go in. But our herbs, we weren't as successful with. So we're going to do some direct sow for a few things, and we are going to pick a few other things up from the store. And we'll try some new seedlings that'll hopefully go in later on this summer. Now, the boys are out here with me. They've got some new little toys, some reusable water balloons, so you're going to see them hopefully fighting in the background. But we're going to get everything in the ground. But first, we went out to Costco because they were offering a great deal. We picked up a few things, including a new blueberry bush. One of the reasons why is that blueberry bush from a couple weeks ago that we transplanted, none of the foliage is coming in. We've got some blueberries that seem to be coming in, but no greenery at all. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap that out with another sorbet blueberry. Costco's got a great deal going on for that right now, as well as some burning bushes and some autumn blaze maples. So we're going to go pick a couple of those up from Costco, and then we're going to get everything in the garden. So let's get started.
Like I'm in the forest. There's like the tall tree, bushes.
Okay. What you got?
What is this?
Water balloons?
Yeah.
Hey, open it all the way up. There's water balloons, see? So in this area, what we're going to do is we did some cluster planting. I'll leave a link to that video. And these are all of our onion seeds. We have ruby red, some Walla Walla, and some red Geneva. What we're going to do is do some interplanting in here. We have some large gaps where the berry bushes aren't quite big enough to fill in the gap, so we have a lot of dead space. So I'm going to use that open space to plant some crops. So we're going to start with this big area. We're going to start planting our ruby red. They're all very fibrous and everything comes apart really easy. So we're planting these about every 3 inches. And ruby red all through here. I got about 28 or 29 out of that one. Now I'm going to plant the rest of these over here and do the same thing. And they'll continue to go all the way around the blueberries. All right, we got about 50 to 60 of the ruby reds planted in here with the blueberries. Sorry, next up are Lake Geneva. About 17. Can you say 17? That's right, 17 onions. Say 17 onions. Close enough. Last are the Walla Wallas. Oh, gotcha. All right, so we have our pole beans. We have a Blue Lake pole bean we're going to use to climb the trellis. Maybe 8 to 10. We're going to plant them all along here, about 6 to 7 inch spacing, so they cover this entire trellis. And now I'm going to be using a fertilizer here in the beginning while everything gets established. One of the things that I learned from listening to M.I. Gardner is during the bean process, if fertilized early, it helps promote growth. You don't fertilize this later because that'll actually inhibit the pod growth. But we want the bean to actually start growing. We want it to start tracing up the trellis and get high enough up to get enough sun before it starts actually getting beans on it. Now, when we start doing this, what I want to do is we'll start actually harvesting this as soon as we can, and almost in completion as quickly as we can. What we want to end up doing is having a continuation process where every time we get beans, we take them off, so then it grows again. It puts forth that effort that was using to create the green beans. It'll put forth the growth. and they'll continue up the trellis. So hopefully by the end of the season, or by their season, maybe July-ish, we'll have this thing fully encompassed with green beans, and we'll be picking them from all over. So we're gonna get these in right away and start the weeding process of having them grow up the trellis. So I'm using a garden tone as our fertilizer, just right on top of the soil, and we'll start mixing it in as we start planting. Since I've been hardening this stuff off, it's been outside. So we have a new visitor that's made his home in our green beans. See him? Over here.
What do you think?
You wanna hold him?
No?
No? Here.
Oh no!
Now the rest of these are all gonna be bush beans. We've got our contender beans, we got about 3 of those, and then we've got some soybeans, and then we have some mixed beans. Those are all gonna get put into here. This is a little bit of a shaded area, so this area is gonna be a little bit cooler, so hopefully we'll have a better bean production as the year goes through. For the soy, we only had 1 survive. And the rest of these are all mixed beans, which I've got 4.
Look, he's in water. He's on top of the rock. He's over there.
Now over here we got a couple cantaloupes, some watermelon, and I think 1 or 2 tigers. The tigers are gonna be a lot smaller, so I'm actually gonna put the tigers alongside here so they go up into the trellis. I'm gonna set the watermelons, I'm gonna set in the cantaloupe, I'm gonna set up here to be able to spill out into this area and encompass all of this. Cantaloupe, watermelon, 2 tigers, we'll go right over here. So I had success with 1 Brussels sprout, so we'll plant that at the back over here. And the rest, we've got a bunch of what looks like cauliflower. Over in this area, we're going to put a couple tomatoes. We have our mortgage lifter. It's an indeterminate tomato that produces a 2-pound tomato. And next to that one, we are going to be putting in our Mariglobe. This is a determinate tomato plant that produces a 7 to 9 ounce tomato. Around our spinach, we're going to be planting our Wisconsin SMR cucumbers. This one produces a 5 to 6 inch cucumber plant. They need spacing between 12 to 18 inches. We're going to put them all around the trellis. So not only are they going to have our arched trellises to go up and over, but we're also going to place them all around. We've got this TP style trellis going over the spinach. This will end up shadowing it out, creating some shade. So once the spinach is done, we can plant some cauliflower, some of the other shade loving greens. Opposite our cucumbers, on the other side of the bed, we got 2 more tomato varieties going in. The first one's going to be our green sausage tomato. It's an indeterminate tomato plant that produces a 2 to 4 ounce tomato that's green and oblong shaped. And the next variety is our blueberry tomato plant. This is a indeterminate tomato variety that produces a 1 to 2 ounce tomato. In our birdie beds in the center of the garden, we are going to be planting our spicy peppers. We have 3 variety going in here. The first one is going to be our Carolina Reaper. Next is going to be our ghost pepper. And lastly is a cayenne pepper. In the corners of this back bed, we got a couple tomatillo plants, and then we're going to be planting a couple more tomato varieties. First up is going to be our sweetie tomatoes. It's an indeterminate that produces a 1 ounce tomato. The next variety, we only have one. It's going to be our black Seaman tomato. It's a determinate tomato variety. It produces an 8 to 12 ounce black tomato. Along the arch trellis, we're going to be planting our long purple eggplant. And then in the corner, our black beauty eggplant. In the second half of this bed, we're going to be planting jalapenos, poblanos, and our last tomato variety. It is going to be our Wisconsin 55. It's an indeterminate tomato that produces a 6 to 8 ounce tomato. And over here we got our sweet peppers and we got our broccoli. The broccoli will get to a point, we'll harvest it, pull it, and then we can put something else here. We're also going to put peas along the side, and we have room still on both ends of this to plant something that's going to trace the trellis. But we're going to get this stuff in first. We've got our broccoli on this side and sweet peppers over here. So you can see this is what's left over that I didn't find room for, or I just had that many duplicates. So I am going to be giving these out to some family and friends here in the near future to get rid of these. And then all of these guys are actually going to go into pots that are going to go out here. So those are ready to go. We'll be ready to go probably tomorrow. And here's our graveyard. These are the pots that didn't have anything or things died off. I have a lot of the squares that didn't make it. And that's only some of the stuff that died off. We were able to, and despite those failures, we were able to put 96 seedlings into the garden. A variety of different plants, from cucumbers, a whole slew of peppers. We've got spicy, we've got regular, sweet, we've got 5 different types of tomatoes, 3 different types of cucumbers, 2 types of eggplant, tomatillos, 4 types of beans. We've got melons, we've got watermelon, we've got a Tigger melon, we've got our garlic and spinach obviously still going. We got 60 onions that we planted on top of the 96 seedlings that we put in. We got a lot of stuff in, and we're not even close to being done. We still have at least this bed's trellises aren't touched. We don't have anything close to them, so we'll probably plant some peas or something else. And because a lot of this stuff is slow growing, we do have some fast growing root plants that we can put in the spacing in between. I made sure our spacing for our peppers and our broccoli are spaced correctly, about a foot apart, to give them room to fully grow. So in between, we can start putting some of our beets and our turnips and our radishes all through the garden. So we're gonna start getting that stuff in and do some direct sowing here probably this week. So we'll pull that in, so stay tuned for that. We'll keep you updated on how the garden's growing. We'll do photos on Instagram and Facebook, so follow us and look for us there. I'll try to post some pictures to our community here on YouTube. If you have any questions or comments about what we've got going on, please leave them in the comment section below. We have a lot to come, including those 4 trees that we picked up this last week. Those are going to be going in the ground within the next week. But that's going to be it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.